Alright, so we got a little pike here. Not very big, but we're not really fishing in the best pike spot, so just cool to see a pike. Caught him on a big creek chub, or not creek chub, I'm sorry, sucker chub. We were hoping for creek chubs, but no bait shops had them. We drove about 20 miles out of our way to get them. The guy said he had them, but turns out they were small sucker chubs. I use 7-strand braid.
So these are the things that I use right here. I use 7-strand uncoated. This is 27-pound still leader. And then Gamakatsu number 2 hooks. Use those for big Lakers and also big pike. And then I have some barrel swivels. I like bigger size so that it keeps my big bait down. Let's say I'm using a big creek chub or a sucker chub or something, it'll help wear my bait out and keep it down. And then right here I have 20-pound ice line for my tip up. Hello everyone, welcome to On Fish TV. I had a couple people ask me about tip ups, how to set them up and how I use them. So I'm just going to run through a couple things here from start to finish. This is a tip up. There's several different varieties. This is more of a panfish style because of this small keeper right here, and also this is more for fishing in shallower water. If you're fishing in 60+ feet, I would recommend getting a bigger spool right here. But I really like the panfish ones because they pay out line really nice and smooth. To counteract that though, I like to use this stuff right here. This is my ice line. It's a 20-pound and it's Woodstock, and that's the brand of it. This is 20 pounds, 50 yards, so that's 150 feet. If you go with like a 40-pound or even a 50 or 60-pound ice line, it's going to populate your spool too much, and so to really use that heavy of a line, you're going to be fishing in shallower water, or you're going to have a bigger spool. Now, I like to spin my line on a certain way, and to get it started, there's holes in the side of your spool. You don't want to use the bottom one because it's going to be paying out off the bottom edge more often than on the top edge. So right up here is a hole, and if you run that in through there, in through that hole so that the line off of your ice line spool is on the inside, okay? And then you're just going to tie that to the edge of your spool. Now, guys, this is the way I do it. It may not be how everybody else does it, but this is what I do. So I get that on there, and then I use something to cut that. I don't have anything with me. Okay, so I got something to cut with. I'm going to trim that as close as I can get it. And now I'm going to start spooling it on. Right here, most of these tip-ups, they have a keeper on them. And this is to push this metal bracket down. I push mine up during the spooling on process so that I can get it exactly how I want it. And I try to keep the bottom layers as tight as possible. The big reason for this is because I want to fit as much line on here as possible, because I fish for Lakers and sometimes you're fishing them at 100 feet of water. So I really like to populate my spool very evenly and all the way across it. So after we get this all spooled on, I'll show you exactly how much to fill it up, and then we'll go over still leaders and how to attach them to your ice line. So let me spool this on. I will get right back to you. So when I spool this on, I put my finger on the bracket right here, and that keeps the line tight as it's going on to here. And then I just move this bracket back and forth, keeping it nice and even. And that's going to allow me to populate this with as much as I possibly can fit on there. Alright, so funny, I thought my brand new spool line had more on it. It didn't. So I only ended up getting about 30 yards on here instead of the 50 yards. That's okay. I'm just going to continue on. But typically I like my tip-up line to go about 1/8 of an inch to the edge of your spool. Okay, so the keeper, you can push that down. This is kind of in operating use right here. That keeper is to make it pay off right perpendicular to the spool, so it's not dragging down or up or whatnot. This is directly connected to the spindle here, and so alright, so once I have this set up, now I'm going to apply my still leader. I see a lot of guys out here with still leaders bought from the store and too big of hooks, whether it be a big treble hook or just a big single hook. That right there looks like a lot of jewelry. It's very shiny, bulky. What I like to do is I like to tie my own up, and this one's been used a couple times. But as you can see there, it's a lot smaller, a lot less bulky. If you compare the two together, you know, this one you're gonna have a lot more bites, and you're gonna catch fish that are leader shy. These work great for pike, but you're gonna cancel out almost every other bite that you would get. So this is definitely the reason why I like tying my own. To do that, I have a couple things here. This is my uncoated wire, 27 pound. It's 7-strand, made by Berkeley. And then I also have these little clips or crimps to crimp it down. And as you can see here, that's how you crimp them down. Number 2 Gamakatsu hook. I've caught plenty of fish over 40 inches with that small of a hook. And then I like to use a bigger barrel swivel, so if I'm using a big creek chub, it weighs it down and it's harder for him to come up. So to apply my leader to my ice line for the tip up, so I'm gonna make a loop. I'm gonna put the loop through my barrel swivel. I'm gonna tie an overhand knot, and then I'm gonna run my leader through that hoop that I made on the other side of the overhand knot. and then pull it tight. It's a good knot for braid also. So now I have that applied. So setting my tip up in the lake, when fishing, this is going to be flipped down. I like to figure out which way it's turning. Mine is going this way, so I like my tripping mechanism to turn down the flag, not up the flag, because then it causes a little more resistance. But that can help if you're using bigger baits, but typically I like mine to go down the shank of the flag. So let's say that we have a wind blowing across from right to left. I'm going to place this exactly like this so that the wind is pushing the flag into the post. If it's flipped around this way, it's just going to pull your flag right off of there. So that's how I set that up. Another thing to know about these is there's a bigger notch and a littler notch. A littler notch is for panfish or smaller baits such as a flathead minnow. This bigger notch is to help with wind or bigger baits. Let's say that you're using a bait that's this big and it keeps popping it on the little setting, you're going to want to adjust it to your heavier setting. You can also adjust these, which I don't like doing because I like mine to pay off as smooth as possible. That's just me. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Hope this little tip helped you out. Let's see one of these in action.
Flag up. She's a spinning. I'm gonna go right over to this flag. We might want to bring some more tip ups out here. Heading out deeper. Oh, I did get him. Feels little. Just coming right out the hole right now. Got another mile of line out. I'm going to show you guys a trick after we get this fish. Since he took so much line out, it's going to kind of be a mess to reel back up. I hope he's a little bigger than what I think. He's got a little backbone to him. All right, he's right there. He's right under your feet. It's a decent fish.
Yeah, another decent pike for the birthday boy.
Oh, decent fish, man. Angry. Ooh, nice pike. Real nice pike.
Nice.
Woo! This one's picture quality here. All right.
Yeah.
That's a good fish right there. Woo!
My phone's still over there.
Oh man, yeah, we're gonna need some pictures of this guy. All right, so while he's going to do that, I just want to show you guys real quick. So my line is all messed up right here, and if I just pick up my tip up and start spooling it back on, it's gonna pull from the bottom of the pile and it's gonna mess everything up. So what I like to do is I'll take it from where the fish is at and I'll repile it up in a different spot so that when I'm reeling it in, it's pulling line off the top of the pile. Alright, so now everything that I pull or everything that I wind up on my spool will come right off the top of this and it won't be tangled. Alright, we're gonna get this fish unhooked here. Got the photos. We're gonna let this big girl go. Yep. Alright, so I'm gonna reel this up, and I stacked it all like I was talking about. And this just allows you to reel it up nice and clean. Without untangling. I've been on the other end of this where you're untying for 25-30 minutes.
Day